Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections show. This is your girl, Allie. I hope everybody is doing well. On Mondays, we just jump right into it because we don't have as much time as we do on Saturdays. And so I definitely want to introduce you all to Miss Teresa Myers Irving. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and how are you doing? How all you supporters doing?
I am great. I am great. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm just going to tell a little bit about you, and then, I want you to jump in there because I'm going to give you a chance to greet our listeners as well. But Teresa Myers Irving believes we can all choose our destiny and create our own opportunities through hard work and perseverance. She has worked hard throughout her life and is proud she has been of service to others. She is a councilwoman. We were just talking as well. She is a nurse. She was a realtor. I don't know if you still do that, but also a minister. So truly, you can tell in the titles that she holds that she is a woman of service, a woman who thinks about other people and wants everyone to live their best life. So, welcome to the show. So thankful you could spare some time because we know we're in election season. So thank you so much.
Thank you, most of all, for allowing me to be here today. It's a great honor to be here to speak with you. And even though it's an election season, I believe for the years that I've been serving, that every day is an election season. Because
True.
if you're elected to be a public servant who is a leader, you need to be doing that every day. And that is why I'm serving on the city council, and I'm also seeking the position of mayor.
Awesome. So yeah, I was gonna say greet our audience and tell them what you're doing in this season, and even about nursing. Anything you want to share at the beginning?
Well, to everyone, first I want to say that you may this may be the first time that you're actually getting to meet me. But I'm actually a Florence native. I was born, raised, and educated right here in Florence, South Carolina. So I am the native daughter. And also, I'm a wife and a mother. But most of all, I'm a child of God. My life has been a life of service, and I believe that I'm here to serve and to lead. And that as I'm traveling on this journey, it is my obligation and my duty to make sure the path that I create is one that others can follow. And that is why I'm seeking to be the next mayor of Florence. I have served on the city council for the last 10 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed being able to represent the citizens of Florence. And I believe that with the potential that we have in Florence, the vision that I have, that we can move Florence forward to a beautiful, positive future, which would create Florence to be a leading city here in the PD. So that is why I'm looking forward to it. And I simply love people. And as you heard, I am a nurse. So I've been a nurse now for over 39 years. Presently, I work still part time because being a public servant, being in a leadership position, I needed to be available when the city of Florence needed me. But I would like to say and think that by serving as a nurse, since then, my daughter's following in my footsteps. She's actually a senior in nursing school, and
Oh
I'm
wow.
honored to say that my second oldest, he's actually chief resident at the hospital where he's working, so he followed into the medical field. And my eldest son, he just graduated with his engineering degree, and so he took up the art part of me. So I am an artist as well. So for me, I just believe in enjoying life and making life better for anyone and everyone who I cross path with. And for Florence, I love my hometown, and I do have some great plans that I do plan to share with you as we go along.
Awesome. I love it. And I love what you said that being a servant, whatever title we hold, we should do it every day. We shouldn't just like even being a minister. You don't just turn that on Sundays or Wednesdays. You have to live that life. And so, even in this year, and, we will talk about the election and how important it is for people to use their voice. And their voice is their vote. And so for me, I'm just talking about for me, when I'm looking for the candidate, I want the person who I feel like is looking out for me and my family, and not just me, but my brothers and my sisters, my cousins, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Somebody who I can relate to, somebody who has the same thoughts that I have, you know? And so I definitely hear what you're saying. You want to move the city of Florence even further. You want them to be, in the mainstream and let people know that Florence is a powerful city. And
It
so,
is.
what's the difference, between being a councilwoman? Like, why did you say, well, let me take it to the next level and run for mayor? Why did you want to do that?
Well, at present, our present mayor, who I've had the honor to serve with on city council, he's been in the position of mayor for the last 12 years. I've had the honor of serving on the city council for the last 10 years. So by his being mayor, he actually created a good stream of communication. So the communication that we shared as a council is really what moved this city on the pathway of success that we're on now. So with him not returning, I want to be assured that the individual who's representing us as mayor has that same mindset of communication and loving and serving the people of Florence. And I'm that candidate. And most important, too, I have the experience to do it. And I say now, experience does matter because we're right now in the midst of a pandemic that we have got to recover from. I am a nurse, so I understand the pandemic and the effect that it's had. I also understand the medical standpoint of what we need to do to get through it. So for me, I respected the mayor that we had. I believed in the leadership that he presented. And I know that I'm the candidate who can step in on day one and start working and continue to have that same leadership style, but also take it to another level because I have the experience in this time of this pandemic. And I'm also, as you said, a minister. I'm also a nurse. So I have the leadership skills in all areas. I'm also, served with real estate since 2005. And what I do now is basically I refer my clients because I believe that I must be sure that the people I work with get the best service. So when it comes to real estate, I refer clients so they can get top-notch service, but I also make sure they get good people to work with. So for me to run for mayor is because I know what it is to be a part of a great leadership team. I had that honor for 10 years. I want to continue that leadership team by becoming mayor of Florence. And I am the best candidate. I'm the candidate who has exhibited throughout her life moral and ethical service. Not only that, honest service that you can depend on me with anything that you place in my hand. I have treated it with respect. I have honored this city, and I will continue to do that as the mayor. And I'm the only candidate who can say I have that track record. And so that is why I'm running.
All right now. And I don't know you personally, we've talked briefly, but I know that for North Carolina, there was a whole group of people from North Carolina to come down and support you and to lift up your praises in that area. And let me tell you, the people that came, I know them and I know they're people of respect and, like you said, ethics. And they're not going to come from North Carolina to support you if you're not worthy of being supported.
Thank you. I would have to say yes. We had a great team that came from North Carolina, from the Queen City. So from the Queen City of Charlotte. So yes, and the great thing about it, I believe that with them coming here, that shows you that I have lived a life that others who've watched me, have known me, believe in the
Right.
service that I provide. And I will continue to provide that same service. So I want to give a shout out right now to the Queen City. Say thank you again for coming to the Magic City to support me. And most of all, too, a lot of people don't realize, but with this election on the 3rd, it's going to be a historical election. Not only with Kamala Harris serving on the ticket for our VP, but me serving on our ticket for the mayor. I will break 2 windows at one time on November 3rd with the support of our citizens. And that's why it's so important to me that everyone gets out to vote. I've been voting since I was a teenager. Every opportunity I get to exercise my power, I take that vote and I use it. I love to tell people, your vote is worth more than $1 million because if it was not, they wouldn't be spending millions to
Right.
suppress it and oppress it. So
Come on.
yeah, so for me, yes, I want to thank again our Queen sister for coming to Florence, South Carolina to help me to elevate the awareness of our voters and to help get our voters out. And so thank you again, Queen City. We appreciate that.
And it also shows me that you're somebody who works well with others. You don't mind the Queen City coming down to the Magic City because we can all work together. And we were talking a little bit about even with the pandemic and things like that is we have to have a national plan to get over this because we're still in the midst of it. And so people, need to realize that there's something that we all can do. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Yes, as we were speaking, I'm once again being a nurse. I understand the importance of what we call microorganisms. There's diseases out there that you can't see, and you don't know about them until they hit you. COVID-19 is a virus that is brought into our bodies, and I tell people they introduce it through what I call the death triangle, and that is this area here between your eyes coming to your mouth. In other words, you might touch your eyes. Someone may have talking, you're not talking, they spray. It could come in through your eyes, through your nose, or your mouth. So as a nation, we need a plan that is consistent throughout every state to protect our citizens. Right now, we are aware some are fighting the science of it, but the science is this is a virus. If someone coughs on you, breathe on you, or talk too much and spray on you, you can get this virus. So we do need to wear our facial covering. I mean, we need to cover our mouth and our nose. And if you're in a situation where you feel there's going to be a lot of spraying, even that face shield that you see, you should have and wear that. But these things here are our hands. If you think about the amount of things that we touch every day with our hands without thinking about it, then we do this, or, and if you just touch something that has that virus on it, you just introduced it to your system. But one of the scary things about this virus is that you can be what we call a super spreader or a carrier. That means you can be walking around with this virus, you can be feeling good. But everyone you're talking to without your mask and they're not having, you are now exposing them to that virus. And
Right.
some people body cannot fight that virus off like everyone else. So yes, as a nation, we do need to wear our facial covering. Yes, we do need to wash our hands and we do need to maintain social distance. That means we need that 6 to 8 feet separation between us. If you're talking with someone, talk loud. Don't get close to them. These masks that we're wearing really is protecting others from us. Because if I'm walking around with that virus, I don't know it. If I have my mask on, I'm keeping myself from spreading something to you. So understand this mask, once again, is a way of honoring your brother and your sisters by protecting them.
Mhm.
And do not let someone pull you into this world of debate or politics. This is a health issue. This is a pandemic. No political party will be able to stop this virus unless we do it together. And by doing it together means that we need leadership that will put in place a national action plan to combat this virus. We have got to suppress the curves. Other nations have done this. Why hasn't the United States? Where is our leadership? Where is our plan? Leadership starts from the head down, from the
Right.
White House over this nation. That is why that White House is there. It is to pull all of our states together to have a plan to help this whole nation. So if our nation don't have a plan, where's the leadership from the White House to affect this? We've had a forewarning of this virus since the end of 2019. No plan. October 2010. We know in March for sure we started getting information out there. October 2020. No plan. March, the White House knew. So how can we trust that October 2020 with this past 8 to 10 months? As a nation, we don't have a plan. So yes, as a nation, I believe that we need better leadership to help pull this United States together. The key thing is united. So that is why I state as a nurse, we need to follow the science and not the politics of it.
Amen. And see, and I think that's what makes a good for lack of a better word, politician, because you don't think of everything as a party. You think of things as people, as households, as families. And so I appreciate what you're saying, because you're looking at this as, hey, this is my brother or my sister. This
Mhm.
could be my family member. But, I'm not just worried about my family, I'm worried about your family. And, from what I'm hearing you say is, when you take office, I'm gonna say when you take office, that you will definitely be on top of these things for our families, for our community. Because if our community keeps getting sick and keeps dying, then what's gonna happen, right?
Correct. Correct. And I believe that as a leader, I believe that because for me, I tell people I'm a servant leader. And I use that term very wisely. Understand, in order to lead, you must also serve. And if you think biblically, I think back to when Jesus' feet was being washed, but then he turned around. Then he washed the feet of those who served him. So when it comes down to it, I know the term of politics and has gotten such a name, but for me, I say it like this: politics or the political realm is a system of governing, but the people who you elect are the ones who should design that system to represent you, the
Mm,
voter. So when I'm serving, I say servant leader because I'm in the community. I'm a community member. I'm the ear to hear you, and I'm the voice to speak for you when I'm at that table. See, that is what true leadership is. It's not about
mm,
the person, it is about us collectively having someone to represent the different areas that we have need in. So for me, I'm a trained listener. I'm also a mediator. So one of the things I do is I listen and I try to say, okay, what is the best thing that we can do to get the ultimate results? So
right.
yes, I believe in community. I believe in family because without the citizens, what do we have? Our,
Exactly.
our city is made up of communities, and
Yeah,
communities is made up of what? People.
that's it. That's it.
And that's
And
the key.
I like what you said, that you are the voice for the people. And that is so true. When you are in that leadership role, you then hold a platform
Hmm.
that you go to that platform and you represent all people. Now
Yes.
let's just face it, you're a woman of color.
Yes.
but but
You
when
notice?
you, just in case you didn't know, I
Okay, I didn't know
hope
if
it's not
I
a
didn't know if they
surprise.
noticed or not.
But when you hold the office as of mayor, are you just going to look for the people of color? Are you just going to look out for them?
You know, I look at it like, and I have to fall back to this all the time. I believe that we were created in a diverse collection of people because we all have something to bring to the table. For me, being in the medical field for 39 years, anyone who I've cared for, I'm not concerned about the skin if there's not an injury there. I'm concerned with the wholeness of that person being healthy, being strong, and living. So for my citizens who I will represent, it will come to the same thing. We are one race, the human race. The basic things that we need to live and survive, we all require them. But there are some things and some issues that may affect one nationality more than another
Hmm.
ethnicity. So the needs might differ, but the human race is not different. We all need to live healthy, strong and happy and have economic stability. That's what we all require. And then there's some issues, yes, when it comes down to policing matters that we see statistically, it affects more of the black male and females than others. So that's the issue that we do need to address. But then all in all, any issue that affects our citizens have to be addressed. I will represent all just as I've cared for all as a nurse. I care for any and everyone who is in need. And that is why for the last 10 years I've been an effective leader because I represent people and I care for the whole of the human race.
Amen.
Mhm.
So I wanted to also bring to the people's attention, as a councilwoman,
Mhm.
you were able to secure $3.5 million to begin community development projects in your city. That is amazing.
Well, thank you. Yes, one of the things when I ran for council originally, my platform was community stabilization and revitalization. One of the issues that I noticed in our city was that certain areas of the city were advancing, whereas the other areas were not being invested upon. So it was my mission to see that I brought this to the forefront of our government, which I did. And the first time in history, got $3.5 million set aside for community development. And I chair the committee for our community redevelopment ad hoc committee. So I'm chairing that development. I'm proud to say that we have two new development that is prosperous and growing, but also I will continue moving Florence forward as mayor to have more development. We have a corridor on the East Florence side of our city because we have, northwest, east, and south. For the East Florence area, I will, as mayor, continue that development on the East Florence area. I want to have what we will call the historical pine area where we'll be placing new homes. But I also want to work with our county council to develop one of our gateways in that area. So for me, I believe in community, and I believe that all parts of our city must be invested upon. We must have equal development throughout the city of Florence, because you can't have one part of our city beautiful and the other part that you're dodging.
Right.
That's not unity. That's not good development. So I will work for the whole of the city to bring all of us up to a beautiful place that anyone who comes to our beautiful city, the hardest decision they will have is which side of town should I live in, because every place is so beautiful and so equally developed. So that is my goal. I want to make it tough for someone to decide where to live, because our whole city will be so beautiful and we'll be investing throughout our city. That's my goal.
All right now. Now that's a tough decision to have to make, right?
Oh yes, and I want that one for
But they
everyone.
got pretty trees, they got flowers, the school system in every area is good. Which one do we? It's just a matter of which one you choose. I
Yes.
love it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of leadership we need. In case y'all don't know, that's the kind of leadership we need. We don't need people to have to worry about, well, if I live on this side of town, my kids, I like this side of town, but the education system is not good. I live on this side of town, but the hospital, they're kind of iffy. The clinics are not, no.
Yes.
The whole
Whole
city
city.
coming together, supporting one another. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. If I lived in South Carolina, guess who would get my vote?
Thank you.
So people really do, really need to not just not just follow the crowd. What would you tell people about that? You might have a friend who's saying, "Well, I'm not going to do this. I don't know." How can people really take some time, make educated decisions, and make it to the poll? What would you tell somebody when they're trying to decide?
Well, first I will tell them, know your candidates. Be an informed voter. And for me, I will tell you to go to florencemayor.com. That's www.florencemayor.com, and read about me. When you read about me and my service and my leadership, there won't be any question about who to vote for. And I would
Yeah.
tell them, once you've done that, make your plan to vote. How are you planning to vote? At this time, the request for absentee ballots, you're really too close, but you can do early voting at your voter registration office. I would say, especially here in Florence, which is located on Third Loop, go and vote early, because because of the value of this particular election, because the soul of our nation is hanging on this election. You
Yes.
need to vote early so you know your vote will be in there and your vote will count. If you're not able to vote early and you plan to vote on November the 3rd, I would say get to that poll early. And also realize, if you're in that line at 7 o'clock on November the 3rd, stay. Because if you're there before or at 7 o'clock p.m., you are still entitled to vote. So I will tell you, as a voter, know your candidate. And I'm the best candidate for mayor, but go to my website and read up and see. But get out, have your plan of action of how you plan to vote, and vote early. And not only you, bring a friend, bring a neighbor. You can both wear your mask, But any and every able-bodied person should be out there voting. And there's a statement that's going around: if you can march, march to the polls, because marching is action, but voting puts that action into play. When you vote for individuals who will represent you, your desires, which mean if you're in that community, who's going to speak the best for that community? Be informed. Vote to make change. If you're not going to vote, you're not going to make any changes. And just as you're out there marching, you may march, but you're not making change.
Right.
Unless you're marching to that voting box. So that's what I would tell all voters: vote early, know your candidate, read up on them, and don't let someone sway you. Why do you think the civil rights movement occurred? In order to get voting rights. Remember, a lot of us who look like me until this 1965 couldn't even vote. And then when you think about women couldn't vote either before the women suffered. So my thing is, we are a country that's continuously growing in development. Your voice is your vote. So if you're not going to vote, that means you don't have a voice. So that means that you're now stuck with whatever anyone say is going to occur. Vote early and vote for your candidates and read up on your candidate. That's what I would tell every voter to do.
And I agree because, I'll admit it, there was a time, I maybe think 2 elections that I did not vote. And I was complaining about something and somebody said, well, did you vote? I said, well, no. They said, well, you don't really have a right to complain because, you could have helped sway it. And I was like, oh, you don't have to talk to me like that, but that's okay.
And I laugh. I tell people too. I said, now if you didn't vote, you did vote. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you vote for the person who won. Because your vote could have changed the election. Literally, in our city of Florence, our mayor, who is presently leaving office, he won by 1 vote.
Oh, wow.
1. And I laugh because I never forget my son. He'd worked that day and close to that 7 o'clock time period. By the time he got back into Florence, he said, Mom, so close. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to vote. I said, go vote anyway. And he went and he voted. And so he'll laugh and he'll tell me now, that was my 1 vote. So yes, every vote counts.
Yeah, but people think that, well, I'm just 1 vote, but you're not 1 vote, because if you think you're 1 vote, your neighbor thinks they're 1 vote, your cousin across, come on, then you got 3 votes. Yes. 3 votes that could have changed the trajectory of our communities, of our cities, of our states, our United States.
Yes.
So definitely, and again, I have been telling people, go early. The lines are not as long. And even if you find 1 polling place where the line might be a little bit, there are others, seek them out. And because on November 3rd, just like with your son, you never know what's going to happen. Yes. You might wake up, you're not feeling well. You might have to take care of a sick parent. Your car might not start. Anything could happen. Yes. But if you plan to vote on October 27th and your car doesn't start, you have to October 31st to find another way. So don't get discouraged if the day you say you're going to vote, things don't work out. Keep pressing your way, because your vote is your voice, and your voice is important. Your voice is important to your family. Your voice is important to your community. Your voice is important to this entire world. So don't sit on your vote. And I do tell people all the time, like we were just saying, there's a lot of time our brown skinned people couldn't vote. Yes. People died, cried, fought for that right for us. Come on, y'all. Get out there and vote. There was a time when we as women, people wouldn't listen to our voice. But we as women are powerful. Get out to the polls and cast your vote and use your voice. Yes. So Miss Councilwoman Teresa Myers Irving, the councilwoman running for mayor of Florence, South Carolina, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for sharing your heart with us. And before we go, definitely want to give you opportunity to tell people, give them the website again and tell them how they can follow you. And even as you become mayor, and, how they can join in and, make sure that the mission happens, because that's another thing. We can't just cast our vote for the person, but then we have to support them
Yes.
after they have won the election. We have to continue to be there and uplift them because it's a hard thing, but we can all do it together. So make sure you tell them how they can follow you and just leave, a last word of encouragement.
Well, first, thank you again for allowing me to be here today. And I agree with everything you just said. And for anyone who wants to follow me, go to my website, www.florencemayer.com. By going there, you will have access to be able to link into my Facebook page, also my Instagram and Twitter page. And yes, it is very important. Once I am elected as mayor, I'm going to need your support. And just as was spoken, women have not always had that voice at the table. I will be at the table. People of color have not always been at the table. I will be at the table. It is important that I don't go on this naively. I know that there are ones who will be out there supporting me heavily in my corners, but understand there will be those out there who do not and will not want to see me succeed. But any stumbling blocks that are placed in my way is also being placed in your way as citizens of Florence. Because once that election is over, our goal should be to make the city of Florence the best city we can be, that leading city, that utopia. So I'm going to need your support because I'm being elected by you to represent, serve, and lead you. Anything that comes against me comes against you. So please go to my website, florencemayer.com, so that you can engage with me so we can move the city of Florence forward together. I can't do it without you. I need you between now and the 3rd, and I'm going to need you every day that I'm leading and serving you. So I'm asking for your support, not only between now and the 3rd, but every day after that election. I need you. And I will serve and I will lead you on a path that will move Florence forward in a positive direction for all of Florence, not a selected few, but all of us. That is my goal and that's my vision, to have one Florence moving forward into the future together. So thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I have another state to be looking at on election day. Be checking out Florence, be like, I know the mayor. Come on, Mayor Urban.
Thank you.
Let's do this, girl. So I love it. So thank you again for your time. Thank you for your honesty. And again, you guys know that we are here every Sunday. No, not Sunday. Sorry. Every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. But as you guys know, I love you. I want the best for your lives. Pick the best candidates. Look for people who have a heart for you. Be encouraged and know that you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll be, as soon as we hear the announcement on Mayor Irvin, we're gonna post it and say our congratulations.
Thank you.
So, but guys, we are here. We're here for you, and I thank you all for listening every week. I thank you for your support. I try to bring information and resources that you all need. Maybe you didn't know who Teresa Myers Irving was, but now you have a better idea. Now you know what her heart is and how hard she will work for you. Make it to the polls. Don't forget, your vote is your voice. And we will keep telling you that October 31st, make sure you know October 31st is the last day of early voting. And then November 3rd is the very last day to vote in this election. So make sure you know those dates. Make sure you know your polling places where you can vote. And if you need a ride, there are places and people who are offering rides. If you're a senior citizen and you're like, I don't want to stand in that line, you don't have to stand in the line. You can ride and they will bring your ballot to you where you can vote. So trust me, anything that you think is standing in your way, you have an opportunity to vote. So make sure you do that, okay? Well, this is your girl, Allie, and I will see you all on Saturday. We'll be talking about breast cancer awareness. And you guys know this is also a platform for other people who have an organization, who have a business, and you want a platform. Connect with Making Connections Network. You will have a platform where you can have your voice your platform where you can share with others and encourage others with the God given gifts that He's given to you. So until then, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Thank you, Mayor Irving.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too.